All right, let's do this, everybody. It is episode number 71 of Three Things with JR. I am your host, JR. JR. That's me. It's fun to say, actually. I like saying JR. I like the name JR. I like being JR. Nothing wrong with my real name, Adam. Pretty good name. I'll take it. I did. I have. It's what I go by. It's what the people who know me and love me most call me. However, I chose the name JR because I kind of dig it. I have been asked. I use it as a name at work. It's a nickname. It's become my sort of alternate personality. It's not really a different personality. I'm me either way. It's just fun having another name, another identity. And I use it on the phones with customers. I have been asked how it is spelled. I'll tell a customer sometimes when I'm out at my day job talking to people, I'll say, hey, my name is JR. You can call me back or something like that. And the customer will go, okay, let me write that down. How do you spell JR? I have been asked that multiple times, and it cracks me up every time. It's why my license plate on my motorcycle for a while was JAYARR. So... all right, I wasn't planning to talk about that. I just liked the sound of my own name. So you got a little extra this week. I got a bunch of thoughts I want to share with you. For example, is this show really worldwide? I've been talking on various episodes in the past couple months about how I've noticed that my listenership, small chunks of people, 1 or 2 people in many different countries have been listening to this show. And then somebody pointed out that might be due to people using VPNs. I realized this because on the other podcast that I do for work, it's called Crutchfield, the podcast. You know, kind of like Spaceballs, the movie, that kind of thing. I was looking at some stats for that show, and the list of countries where people are listening to this show was like 3 times as long as the list of countries where people are listening to this show. And I thought I had a pretty long list, but no, that list was crazy long. And that's when somebody pointed out that many people use VPNs while accessing the internet so that they can have some level of anonymity or privacy or whatever. So it's entirely possible that most everybody listening to this show is right here in America using a VPN. So, oh well, maybe we're worldwide. I know for a fact people in Japan listen to this show, and the United States and Canada, for sure. So other than that, who knows what's happening. I got no guests this week. I did try to call several people. They just didn't answer their phones. I hit them up on Facebook Messenger, just texted them or whatever. They still didn't respond to me, so screw them. You're getting just me this week. It's whatever I'm thinking about. That's all you're going to hear on this week's episode of Three Things with JR. I would like to tell you, it's a little show announcement. I am going to be taking a few weeks off. This will be the last new episode for a few weeks, sometime in the middle of September, right around. The show will be back with a new episode September 21st. Until then, and between now and then, I'm going to be doing a ton of things. I'm going to be taking a trip to Iowa, a little family vacation time, and I'm going to be playing in multiple disc golf tournaments. I've got band practice. I mean, just a lot of stuff going on. There's just not going to be time to write, record, edit, and produce Three Things with JR for just a couple weeks, but that's okay. We are currently 75% of the way done with season 2. And I'm not sure exactly what a season of a podcast is. There's no rules for this. We're making them up as we go along. But for me, season 1 was all the shows I did last year, starting in April when I started the show all the way through December. That ended up being 40 episodes, just about one a week. And when I started recording the first episode of 2021, it was episode number 41. I thought, let's make this technically, we'll call it season 2. So each season is basically all the episodes done in one calendar year, which I don't know. That just kind of makes some sense. So we've got about, including this one, 10 episodes left in season 2. And so there may be a few weeks that I take off here and there, but that's basically going to get us through the end of 2021. And then we'll be back in season 3, 2022, a whole new world. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what kind of things are still on my mind then. But going to take a few weeks off. In the meantime, while I am away, I want you to listen to my other podcast, because that one will still be coming out. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you really should. It's called Crutchfield, the podcast. It is a lot of me talking to a lot of interesting people that work at Crutchfield or are higher ups in the industry in consumer electronics. Now, I'm really sure, I'm confident you don't have to be all into the business of consumer electronics to find these shows interesting, mainly because Crutchfield has hundreds and hundreds of employees, and we only hire amazing people. So they're fun to talk to and fun to listen to and fun to get to know them. And that's the point of the show, is to talk to interesting coworkers at Crutchfield and other people who are very into, stereos and music and stuff like that. So, and it has me as your main host. There's a coworker named Eric, also is on the show with me, and it's a lot of fun. And there's a good 20 or 30 episodes of that show you can listen to if you are missing the sound of my voice, which, I get it. I totally get it. But if you are, there are other shows you can listen to, and that should get you through that time. When I think about podcasts taking time off, I think about one of my favorite podcasts. It was recommended by a guy at work named Rob Richmond. He recommended 2 podcasts at the same time, both of which he was 100% right about. They are awesome. One of them is 20,000 Hertz. It's all about sounds, iconic sounds, and the stories behind them. That show comes out basically every 2 weeks. Occasionally they take a break, but it's pretty consistent. The other show he recommended is called Reply All. And when I started listening to Reply All, I got hooked immediately on the concept and the show. It's the show about the internet, but it's so broad a topic. Every show is a little different. They do a deep dive. They do an investigative story. They just talk about some random tweet that somebody doesn't understand. Like, it's a weird, quirky show, and it's fun. I like it. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of 170 episodes out. So I had a lot to listen to. I started binging it from the beginning, got all the way caught up. And what I didn't realize as I was binging it was I had no idea how often they actually put episodes out, because I was binging them. So for me, finish an episode, start the next one. And the problem with that is that they don't come out regularly. Like this show, 3 Things with JR, comes out once a week, and it's pretty consistent. However, Reply All, you might get 1 or 2 a month in a good time, if they're putting them out regularly. It's kind of like an every 3 weeks thing, but not really. They're kind of doing their own thing there with their schedule, and it's super freaking annoying. I want them to come out more regularly. I want more of Reply All, but it's just not how it works with them. So they seem to be more concerned with quality over quantity, and they're not going to put out episodes if they're not amazing. So that's, I guess that's good, maybe, but I do want more. And if you, I will say, if you go to listen to Crutchfield, the podcast, there is one big difference between that show and this show. And there's no burps on that show. We edit the burps out. So if you like the sound of my voice without the occasional burp, you might want to check that one out. There will be a link to Crutchfield, the podcast, in the description of this episode. There you go. All right, let's do some things.
Thing number 1.
What makes me mad? Well, not much. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I don't get mad about much, especially since the divorce. I've been pretty easygoing. Life's been pretty good. It's pretty difficult to get me angry or mad, and that's pretty great. A lot of people don't deal with change very well, and I get that, right? Like, I guess big changes, I'm okay with big changes. It's the little changes that bother me. Like big changes, like, for example, a global pandemic shuts everything down and I can't do any of the things I normally do. Yeah, okay, I can handle that. I was never super mad about this whole thing. Wearing masks was a little annoying, still is when you have to wear them, but never really made me super mad. I have other things to do. I was able to watch more TV, play more disc golf, start a podcast. Just because I couldn't do all the things I wanted to do wasn't the end of the world for me. I didn't go into a deep, dark depression. I know many people did, and I get that, and I'm not belittling that in any way. It's just not been my experience. So that's a pretty big change, and I've been getting through it pretty good. No problem for me, really. It's other little changes that bother the crap out of me, like if a restaurant goes from using plastic straws to paper straws, and I'm sitting there sucking on a paper straw that once it's been in the drink a while, it gets all wet and sloppy and gross and soft and mushy. That sucks, and it makes me really mad. It's so mad that I even purchased metal straws that I could keep on my keychain to always have a good firm straw. But paper straws, they make me mad. The restaurant Chili's, remember them? If you're in Charlottesville here, we don't have a Chili's anymore. They're gone. They just up and left one night. And one of the things Chili's did that made me really mad was they changed their menu. And they not only did they change it, but they started doing things that were very un-Chili's like offering pizza. And when I saw that on the menu, I thought, no, this is it. This is the last time I will be patronizing this establishment. And I think that's why they left in Charlottesville, because we used to go there. My family and I used to go to Chili's. Like, that was our night out until Chili's just changed. And that kind of change bothers the shit out of me. And I would say, let's see, when Spotify switches like a playlist or something over to shuffle mode, and I hit play without realizing it's in shuffle mode, and I hear a song, and then I know the next song that's supposed to happen, but then it's some other random song because it's in shuffle mode, damn it, that pisses me off. Man, it's changes like this are the reason I cannot shop at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, their whole business plan seems to me to be to develop their own exclusive, amazing brands of food and get you hooked on them. And because their stores are kind of small, like they're the size of like an oversized Dollar General, they can't fit in all the stuff that they make. Like they continue to develop new recipes and new things, and they are amazing, and they get people hooked on them. But the problem is they can't fit those on the shelves along with all the other stuff that they've been making. So they have to stop making crowd favorites, things that people love to go to Trader Joe's for and buy. You can only get them at Trader Joe's. They will stop making those things so they can make another new thing. And that's kind of annoying. If you ever listen to the Trader Joe's podcast, which is actually a pretty great podcast, by the way, there's at least a couple episodes where they are just talking about all of the amazing foods that Trader Joe's used to make that you can't buy anymore. It's like they're just teasing everybody. And so that's a good show to listen to it anytime I'm feeling way too relaxed and I need to get angry about something. That's one thing that show's good for. So what makes me mad? It's not the big changes. It's the little changes. All right. Thing number 2, right after the break.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. There's no time for play. Get up, get up, get up. It's a brand new day. Thing number 2.
I've actually got 2 thing 2s for you. Thing 2 is what I'm enjoying, what I'm listening to, it's like a recommendation, basically. And I'm recording this a week or two after the season finale of the show White Lotus aired on HBO. And many people commented about this. My mom and my sister loved it and recommended it. And finally, I sat down and hit play on episode number 1, and they were right. Weird show, little quirky, but excellent. It's beautifully shot. The characters are kind of crazy, very, very interesting. It is not a family show, even though there's several families in the show. But it's full of people that you either love to hate them or you hate to love them, and some of those people are the same people. Like, depending on the scene they're in, you either love to hate them or hate to love them. It's that kind of show. The writing is really well done. Again, it's beautifully done, and it's great. Steve Zahn plays a dad in a family in this show. He's an underrated guy. He's pretty fantastic, super subtle, and really good. So, White Lotus. The other thing too I've got for you, as I was writing out this stuff for this episode, right there on my shuffled playlist on Spotify, I just let it go. I tried to get over it. It was in shuffle mode. I didn't realize it. But the next song that came on, Huey Lewis and the News. Huey Lewis and the News, I don't love all of their albums, but I do love Sports. And if you don't love their album Sports, there's something wrong with you. It is a solid album from start to finish. There are a ton of hits on this album. Songs that will be forever sort of burned into my brain. We heard them so many times back in the mid-'80s. I will just never forget them. You can put any of those songs on and the lyrics come right back to me. All of the nuances, everything, the harmonica, the keyboards, the drums, every bit of it is just solid. I can't forget them. They're fantastic. Heart of Rock and Roll. Bad is Bad, I Want a New Drug, If This Is It, and those are the biggest hits. Then there's also Heart and Soul, Walking on a Thin Line, You Crack Me Up, and Honky Tonk Blues. Finally Found a Home, I'm not sure about that one, but all the rest of those songs, pretty phenomenal. And if you're just looking for some great music that doesn't make you think too hard, check it out, Huey Lewis and the News, Sports. It's 1983. It's a very 80s album, but not in that sort of shitty 80s sounding way. It's got just a touch of, like, you can tell it was made in the 80s, but even listening to it today, it's just phenomenal. So there you go.
Thing number 3.
I got a warning on my phone. If you're in Charlottesville, you probably got this warning on your phone as well. Several days ago, it was like Monday-ish. We've been having a lot of rain storms. Before that, we were having a lot of no rain. So this rain has been pretty welcoming. And I know I'm recording this as there are headlines about all the people dying in Tennessee from all the flooding. And so not in any way trying to make light of that. But it's very sad, very uncool, and my heart goes out to everybody there that's dealing with that. But this flood warning that I got, it was a link in my weather app, right? It was an alert. Came up on the phone, I clicked it, and it took me to a web page with a explanation of the flood warning, all the counties that it applies to, the times that we need to be careful. And at the bottom, it provided some directions. And these are the directions that it gives. It says, when encountering floods, do the following. Here's what you're supposed to do. Turn around. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. That's a pretty good start, right? Like, that's how this warning with instructions starts. Turn around. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. That's a quote. I copied and pasted this into my little notes on my phone because I didn't want to forget this advice. I don't know. I don't know if I would have thought of that on my own. Like, if I was driving and I saw a flood, I don't know if I would turn around. I don't know. I might drown, but this is good because it reminds me not to do that, to turn around and to not drown. It goes on with some more practical advice and information. It says most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Yeah, because people think they can drive through floods. But if you follow these instructions, if you turn around and don't drown, you won't die in your vehicle in a flood. And you should be especially cautious at night when it is harder to recognize. So it's harder to see water at night. But if you do, turn around and don't drown. There you go. That's thing 3. That is 3 Things with JR, episode number 71. Going to be taking a few weeks off. Go check out Crutchfield, the podcast in the meantime. And I'll be back in September. Thanks for listening. Love ya. See you next time.
Match strikes a spark. Spark begets a flame. Flame grows a fire. Each blood in the vein. Match strikes a spark. Spark begets a flame. Flame grows a fire. A fire that can't be tamed.
Get up, it's a brand new